Too many women go to bed every night with their hearts full, but their bodies left empty. They smile, they whisper good night, and they turn over quietly while deep inside, a storm of unsaid desires keeps them awake. Most men don't even realize that the same woman they kiss every night is silently craving more passion, more connection, more exploration. It's not about size, it's not about lasting forever. It's about whether you dare to step outside the routine and give her experiences she's never had before. The truth is, women are built to feel deeply, but only when a man cares enough to unlock those hidden doors. And tonight, I want to take you into a world where intimacy isn't just about release, it's about surrender, discovery, and fire. These are 5 positions most men never even think to try, but once you do, her body, her eyes, and even her soul will never forget you. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, and stay till the very end, because what's coming next might just change your nights forever. The first position most men never even think to try is what I like to call the slow rise. This is not about speed, not about pounding, not about showing dominance. It's about giving her body permission to speak first. Too often men rush. They rush to prove themselves, they rush to conquer, they rush to finish, and in that rush, they leave her body behind. But here's the truth. A woman's body is like a book written in invisible ink. You can't see the words if you don't take the time to let the light fall on it gently. The slow rise is about her straddling you, not just sitting on top for control, but leaning into you, chest against chest, forehead against forehead, where every movement is deliberate, slow, grinding, teasing. Most men skip this because they think it's too soft, too feminine, too unmanly, but what they don't realize is that this is the exact moment when she feels most feminine, most alive, and most desired. When she's on top in this way, it's not just about penetration, it's about connection. It gives her the power to set the rhythm, to listen to her own heartbeat, to chase the pleasure she craves. And when you let her take that control, you're telling her without words, I trust you. I want you to enjoy this just as much, if not more, than I do. Do you know how powerful that is for a woman, to feel safe enough in a man's presence to reveal her rawest, most vulnerable side? That's what this position creates, but let me take it deeper. The slow rise is not just a sexual position. It's a lesson in patience, in vulnerability, in emotional intelligence. It's you saying, I don't need to dominate you every second to feel like a man. I can sit back, hold you, guide your hips, look into your eyes, and still be everything you need. Women crave that balance, a man strong enough to lead but secure enough to let her shine. And the slow rise delivers exactly that. Imagine this, she's moving slowly, hips rolling like waves, her breathing syncing with yours. Your hands are not grabbing, not forcing, but holding her waist gently, maybe sliding up her back, maybe locking around her neck to bring her lips closer. You whisper, you kiss, you breathe into her ear. This is not porn, this is not performance. This is intimacy in its purest form. And here's the secret. When she moves this way, when you allow her this control, she's not just pleasuring herself. She's studying your reactions. She's memorizing the way your chest rises when she grinds a certain way. She's learning the map of your pleasure just as much as you're learning hers. Most men underestimate how deeply women want to please back. Yes, women want to be taken, to be desired, to be pursued, but they also want to feel like they are the source of your pleasure. The slow rise position gives her that. She gets to see the effect she has on you with every roll of her hips, every squeeze of her thighs. That power, that awareness makes her open up more, makes her wetter, makes her hungrier for you. And when she feels that hunger rise from within her own body, it's no longer about what you're doing to her. It's about what you're awakening inside her. That's why men who understand this position create an addiction. She's not addicted to the sex. She's addicted to the way she feels in your presence. Now, let's not forget the psychological layer. Many women carry insecurities about their bodies, their curves, their movements. They worry if they look attractive in certain angles, if they're performing the right way. But when you're underneath her, when your eyes are locked on hers, when your hands explore her curves without judgment, when you whisper that she's beautiful, she begins to lose that fear. She begins to trust that you see her not just as a body, but as a whole woman. And when a woman loses that fear in the bedroom, her passion multiplies by 10. The walls she keeps in public, the caution she holds even in conversations, all dissolve when she feels safe in that moment. And that safety births wildness. Do you see now why the slow rise is not just a position, but an invitation to enter not just her body, but her soul? It's not about how long you last, it's about how long she remembers. And trust me, a woman will forget 1,000 nights of rushed, routine intimacy, but she will never forget the one night you made her feel seen, worshipped, and adored while she was on top of you, rising slowly, taking her time. The beauty of this position is that it creates a loop of energy. She gives, you receive. You give back, she receives. And in that loop, the orgasms that come are not just physical releases. They are emotional explosions. They leave her trembling, clinging to you, whispering your name not because you dominated her, but because you allowed her to dominate the moment in her own feminine power. That's why this is one of the best positions for women that most men never even try. Not because it's complicated, not because it's acrobatic, but because it demands humility, patience, and real masculinity. The kind that doesn't need to prove itself through force, but through presence. So, if you truly want to elevate your intimacy, if you want her to look at you tomorrow morning with eyes that shine with a secret only the two of you share, try this. Let her rise slowly. Let her lead the rhythm. Hold her, kiss her, whisper to her, and remember, sometimes the greatest power a man can show is the power to surrender, to trust, and to love her body enough to let it sing its own song. The second position men rarely ever explore, but women deeply crave, is what I call the deep embrace. It's a variation of side-to-side intimacy, a position where both of you lie facing each other, bodies tangled, legs intertwined, lips close enough to kiss at every moment, and eyes locked as though you're reading each other's souls. This is not a position of performance, it's a position of closeness. Too many men underestimate how much women long for intimacy that feels like more than just sex. They want to feel like they are not being used but being cherished, not being conquered but being loved through every touch, every thrust, every moment of closeness. And this position delivers that in ways most men never even imagine. Picture this. Instead of her back turned or her body pushed away, she is facing you fully. Her chest against yours, her breath hitting your lips, her legs wrapped around your thighs, your hand sliding up her back or cradling her face while you move slowly inside her. This is not rough. This is not about breaking a sweat. This is about whispering, "I'm here with you," without ever having to say it. And here's the truth. Most men are afraid of this level of intimacy because it requires something they rarely give: vulnerability. To hold her like this, to look her in the eye as you're inside her, is to strip away the performance and expose the truth. It says, "This is me, I want you, I need you, I adore you." Women are starving for that kind of honesty. Now let's be real. Most women go through relationships where sex becomes mechanical. The man gets on top, he thrusts, he finishes, he rolls over, and the moment is gone. She may smile, she may accept it, but inside she feels empty. That emptiness comes not because her body wasn't touched, but because her soul wasn't reached. In the deep embrace, her soul is touched. You're not just making love to her body, you're making love to her heart. She can feel your warmth against her skin, your heartbeat against her chest, your gaze never leaving hers. That connection is what makes her wet in ways penetration alone never could. There is also a psychological secret hidden in this position. When a woman looks into your eyes during intimacy, she's not just enjoying the moment, she's studying you. She's reading your passion, your sincerity, your authenticity. If your eyes wander, if you look distracted, if you look away, She feels disconnected. But when you lock eyes with her, when you whisper her name, when you brush her hair back and tell her she's beautiful in that moment, her mind surrenders and her body follows. She feels safe to let go, safe to moan, safe to claw at your back, safe to lose herself in you. That's what the deep embrace creates, a safe playground for her wildness, but it doesn't stop there. The physical benefits of this position are extraordinary. Because you are so close, you can control the depth and angle of penetration more precisely. You can tease her with shallow movements, then surprise her with slow, deep thrusts that hit spots she never expected. You can pause, kiss her deeply, grind instead of thrust, and drive her insane with the mix of tenderness and tension. It's not about rushing, it's about building waves. Women's pleasure often comes in waves, and this position allows you to rise and fall with her, to control the storm together. That rhythm, that shared breathing, makes the orgasm more than just a release. It makes it a fusion. Most men also underestimate how much women crave closeness after the climax. They don't always want to be pushed away. They want to be held. In the deep embrace, there is no separation. The afterglow is built into the position. You're already holding her, already kissing her, already whispering against her ear. You don't have to pretend. You just stay there, and that lingering closeness tells her something her body never forgets. That you're not just there for the pleasure, you're there for her. That's what makes her want you again, not just physically, but emotionally. Another thing men don't realize is that for women, foreplay doesn't end when penetration begins. Every brush of your thumb against her cheek, every kiss on her shoulder, every whisper of her name is still foreplay. This position allows endless opportunities for those subtle touches that magnify her arousal. You can kiss her lips, her neck, her chest, her jawline, all while still moving inside her. You can whisper dirty things, sweet things, or nothing at all. Sometimes just the sound of your breathing against her skin is enough to drive her deeper into the moment. Now let's talk about why most men avoid this position. It's not acrobatic, it doesn't look flashy, it doesn't give that ego-driven sense of I'm pounding her into the bed. That's why many skip it, but here's the irony. This is the exact position that makes women fall in love with you all over again. Because it proves you're not just thinking about yourself, you're thinking about her. You're not just giving her sex, you're giving her intimacy. And believe me, when a woman feels intimacy with you on that level, she becomes addicted not to your body, but to your presence. This is the kind of position that makes her text you in the morning, saying she can't stop thinking about last night. This is the kind of position that makes her smile to herself in the middle of the day, because she feels cherished. This is the kind of position that makes her body ache for you when you're not around, not because of how hard you went, but because of how deeply you touched her. So here's the challenge. The next time you're with her, don't just focus on performance. Pull her close. Face her, look her in the eyes, move slowly, kiss her as if it's your last chance. Let your words, your eyes, and your body tell her she's the most beautiful woman in the world. Because in that moment, when you're locked in the deep embrace, she's not just your lover, she's your world. And when you make her feel that, she will never forget you. The third position that most men rarely ever consider, but which women crave with every fiber of their being, is what I call the rear caress. Now, let's be clear. Many men assume that from behind intimacy is always about aggression, domination, or raw physical power. They imagine pounding fast, gripping hard, and controlling the pace. While that style has its place, most men don't realize that there is a softer, slower, and deeply emotional version of this position, that women secretly yearn for, the kind that combines vulnerability with raw desire, the kind that makes her body melt and her soul surrender. Picture her on her knees or leaning forward on the bed, her body exposed, vulnerable, open. Now imagine, instead of grabbing and rushing, you slow everything down. You slide in gently, you press your chest against her back, you kiss the side of her neck, and you whisper into her ear. Your hands are not just holding her hips. One hand slides across her stomach, feeling her heartbeat, while the other traces her curves, reminding her that she is adored. This is not just sex, it is worship from behind. And this is the version men rarely try. Here's the truth: for many women, this position unlocks a deep sense of surrender. She feels both vulnerable and desired at the same time. She's letting you in while her body is exposed, and when you handle that moment with tenderness rather than aggression, you awaken a part of her that few men ever touch. The rear caress allows you to combine penetration with constant touch, constant reassurance, constant intimacy. And that combination is intoxicating for her. Let's break down why. First, the angle of this position allows you to reach spots inside her body that other positions don't. It gives you the chance to move deeply, slowly, with deliberate precision. But here's the key: don't just chase the physical, focus on the emotional experience you're creating. When your chest presses against her back, when your breath warms her ear, when your lips kiss her shoulder, you are giving her the sense that you're not just behind her, you're with her. That distinction changes everything. Too often, men think intimacy from behind is disconnected because you can't see her face. But that's only true if you keep your distance. The rear caress closes that gap. It turns a position often seen as animalistic into something profoundly romantic. You are holding her close, covering her body with yours, making her feel wrapped in your presence. She feels not just taken, but protected. And protection, safety, reassurance, those are the things that make women surrender their deepest passion. There is also an incredible psychological effect here. When she feels you pressed against her back, when your hand slides under her chin to tilt her head back for a kiss, when your voice whispers her name while you move slowly inside her, she experiences intimacy from both directions: physical from behind, emotional from above. That duality is powerful. It makes her feel both dominated and adored, both wild and safe. And when a woman feels both at once, she reaches levels of pleasure and connection that most men never give her. Now, let's talk about the role of your hands. In this position, your hands are the storytellers. Don't just hold her hips, explore her body. Slide your palm over her stomach, cup her breast, trace her thighs, hold her hand, or even wrap your arm around her waist as if you're never letting go. Those touches tell her something deeper than thrusts ever could. They tell her she is yours in that moment, cherished, valued, and adored. And believe me, she feels that. Another thing men often overlook is the rhythm. From behind, many rush into hard, fast movements. But if you slow down, if you grind instead of thrust, if you tease her with shallow movements followed by sudden deep ones, you drive her insane with anticipation. Women love the buildup. They love the slow fire that grows hotter with every second. And when you combine that rhythm with soft kisses on her neck and whispers of her name, she will lose herself completely in you. The after effects of this position are just as powerful. When it's done with care and tenderness, she doesn't feel used. She feels worshipped. She feels like you saw her, even without looking at her face. She feels like you understood her body's language and responded with love, not just lust. And that leaves her with a memory she cannot shake. Long after the moment ends, she'll think about how safe she felt in your arms, how cherished she felt with your chest pressed against her back, how wild she felt letting go while knowing you were holding her together. This is why I call it the rear caress, because it's not just about the physical act. It's about the message you send with every touch, every kiss, every whispered word. You're telling her, even when you can't see me, I'm here. Even when you're vulnerable, I've got you. Even when you surrender, you're safe with me. That message is what makes her crave you, not just for one night, but for many nights to come. So here's the lesson. Don't reduce intimacy from behind to just a physical act. Elevate it, slow it down, turn it into an embrace. Press your body against hers, kiss her skin, whisper to her soul. Make her feel that you're not just inside her body, you're inside her heart. Because when you master the rear caress, you don't just give her pleasure. You give her a memory that lingers, a connection that deepens, and a reason to crave your presence over and over again. The fourth position that most men never bother to explore, but which women quietly dream about, is what I call the mirror of desire. This is not just a position, it's an experience. It's when intimacy happens in front of a mirror, with her seated or bent slightly forward, and you behind her, guiding every movement. Now, many men dismiss mirrors as vanity, as something unnecessary or even awkward. But what they don't realize is how deeply psychological and erotic this position is for a woman. It doesn't just stimulate her body, it awakens her mind, her self-image, and her sense of being desired in ways that simple touch cannot. Think about it. Most women grow up being told to hide their sensuality, to tone down their desires, to be modest and decent. That conditioning runs deep. So when she sees herself in the mirror mid-passion, hair messy, lips swollen, eyes half closed, she doesn't just see her body. She sees herself as desired, as powerful, as beautiful in the rawest form. That's an awakening most men never give her, and when you stand behind her, holding her, moving with her, whispering in her ear while she watches herself surrender, the effect is unforgettable. Here's the secret: women are visual too. Society often pretends only men are turned on by what they see. But in truth, a woman watching herself being desired, watching her body react, watching her partner's hunger in real time, that drives her wild. The mirror makes her see herself the way you see her, irresistible, sensual, magnetic, and that transforms the entire experience from ordinary sex into something cinematic, something unforgettable. Now let's talk about the mechanics. In the mirror of desire, she can either be standing slightly bent forward, or kneeling on the edge of the bed with the mirror in front, or even sitting on your lap while you both face the reflection. The beauty of this position is that it adapts, but the principle remains: she sees herself and she sees you with her. That dual image creates a powerful psychological loop. She is both participant and witness, both lover and object of desire. And when you kiss her neck, lock eyes with her through the mirror, and move slowly, she feels surrounded not just by your body, but by your gaze. Another overlooked detail is how much control you can offer her here. Place your hands on hers and guide them down her body. Let her touch herself while you move with her. Encourage her to watch her own reactions, to see her own beauty. Many women rarely see themselves in such a state, and when they do, it's liberating. It tells her that her passion is not something to be hidden, but something to be celebrated, and the more celebrated she feels, the more she surrenders to the moment. Men often underestimate how much confidence plays into female pleasure. When she feels beautiful, she feels bolder. When she feels bolder, she lets go of inhibitions. And when she lets go, her passion multiplies. The mirror of desire is a tool to unlock that confidence. It's not about vanity, it's about validation. It's about showing her that in your eyes she is breathtaking, and giving her the proof of that in her own reflection. Physically, this position allows for incredible angles of penetration. You can adjust depth, rhythm, and pace easily while still maintaining closeness. You can pause to kiss her neck, to whisper into her ear, to make her look at herself while you tell her how much you want her. That combination of physical pleasure and psychological stimulation is intoxicating. She doesn't just feel taken, she feels displayed, honored, and celebrated. Now let's get into the emotional core. Women often crave being desired openly, without shame, but in everyday life, many are told to dim their light, to hide their sexuality. In front of the mirror with you behind her, she sees herself freed of that shame. She sees herself through your eyes, wild, radiant, irresistible. That's not just sex, that's healing. That's giving her back the parts of herself the world told her to hide. Imagine the impact. After such a night, she won't just remember the physical climax. She'll remember the moment she looked in the mirror and felt like the most beautiful, desired woman alive. She'll remember your hands guiding her, your eyes locking with hers, your voice telling her she was perfect. That memory lingers far longer than any physical sensation. It becomes etched in her confidence, in her femininity, in her heart. This is why I call it the mirror of desire, because it's not about watching. It's about reflecting. Reflecting her beauty, her passion, her power right back to her. Reflecting your hunger for her in a way that words alone cannot capture. And when she sees herself through that lens, she will crave you, not just for the way you touch her, but for the way you make her see herself. So here's the challenge. The next time, don't shy away from the mirror. Use it, place her in front of it, hold her close, make her watch, show her that she is not just beautiful in your eyes, she is breathtaking in her own. Whisper to her, kiss her, guide her movements, and let the reflection become part of the experience. Because when you master this, you won't just give her pleasure. You'll give her confidence, liberation, and a memory that lights her up every time she looks at herself. And that, my friend, is the kind of intimacy most men never even think to give. The fifth position that most men never attempt, but that women secretly fantasize about, is what I call the throne. It's when she sits on a sturdy chair, couch, or even at the edge of the bed, and you kneel or stand before her, entering her with her legs wrapped around you, while your hands and mouth have full access to every inch of her. This position is powerful, not just because of the physical pleasure it creates, but because of the psychological message it sends. She is the queen, she is the center, and you are there to serve her pleasure as much as your own. Too often, men think intimacy is about proving dominance, about showing strength, about being in control. But women crave balance. They want to feel desired and cherished, to feel like they matter just as much as their partner's release. And the throne is one of the few positions that truly communicates that message. When you place her on the chair, her body slightly elevated, her eyes looking down into yours, she feels both powerful and vulnerable at the same time. She is exposed, open, but also in command of how she holds you close. That duality is what drives her wild. Here's the truth. A woman wants to feel like the goddess of your world in those intimate moments. Not a side thought, not a routine, not just a body you touch, but the very reason your passion exists. In this position, she feels exactly that. She's sitting like royalty, legs wrapped tight around your waist, while you stand or kneel before her, gripping her thighs, holding her close, kissing her as if nothing else exists. And as you move inside her, she doesn't just feel pleasure, she feels worship. Now let's talk about the mechanics. The throne allows for deep penetration at a natural angle. It gives you freedom to control the pace while still allowing her to guide you with the pressure of her legs. She can pull you closer, slow you down, speed you up. That interaction creates a rhythm that feels like dancing. It's not just you taking her, it's the two of you moving together, each responding to the other's body. That synchronization builds not just pleasure, but trust. The throne also unlocks another powerful element, full access. When she's seated like this, her neck, her chest, her lips, her shoulders, her ears, they are all within reach. You can kiss, bite, whisper, and tease while moving inside her. That combination of stimulation, penetration, touch, sound, breath, creates an overwhelming sensory experience for her. And when a woman is overwhelmed in that way, her body doesn't just respond physically, her emotions flood too. That's why orgasms in this position often feel deeper, more emotional, more memorable. But let's go deeper than the physical. The throne has a symbolic meaning. It flips the script on traditional roles. Instead of you towering over her or forcing her beneath you, you place her in a position of honor. You look up at her, you cherish her, you make her feel like the only woman in the world. That act of reverence is rare in the bedroom, and that's why it's unforgettable. When you give her the throne, you're telling her, you're worth everything. You are my focus. You are my world. This also addresses something many women silently crave but rarely admit: to be adored openly. In daily life, they give, they sacrifice, they nurture, and often they don't get the same energy back. But when you put her in this position, when you look up at her with hunger and admiration, you restore balance. You remind her that she deserves to be poured into as much as she pours into others. That reminder is powerful. It doesn't just make her moan in the moment. It makes her trust you more, love you deeper, and crave you endlessly. The throne also allows for variations. You can kneel between her legs, slow and sensual, creating an intimate, romantic moment filled with eye contact and kisses. Or you can stand, lifting her slightly off the seat, turning it into a passionate, fiery experience where she digs her nails into your back and gasps into your ear. The beauty of this position is that it can shift from soft and loving to wild and primal within seconds, depending on how you move. That versatility keeps her guessing, keeps her excited, keeps her hooked. Now, think about the afterglow. When she comes down from that high, she's still sitting on her throne, your arms wrapped around her, your forehead resting on hers, your breath still heavy. She feels like she was not just your lover, but your queen. That lingering feeling will stay with her long after the night ends. She'll remember the way you looked at her, the way you held her, the way you made her feel like royalty. And every time she sits on a chair after that, some part of her will flash back to that night, to that throne, to you. This is why the throne is one of the most powerful positions for women. It's not about gymnastics, not about tricks, not about performance. It's about psychology, symbolism, and intimacy. It tells her she is worth slowing down for, worth looking up to, worth worshipping. And when a woman feels that, she doesn't just crave the sex. She craves the man who gave it to her. So here's the challenge: the next time, don't just take her to the bed. Place her somewhere unexpected. Sit her down, lift her chin, look into her eyes, and tell her she belongs there. Then show her with every kiss, every thrust, every touch that she is not just a partner in pleasure. She is your queen, because when you give her the throne, you give her not just an orgasm, but a memory of power, passion, and love that will echo in her heart forever. Now listen, if you try even one of these tonight, don't be surprised when she refuses to let you sleep tomorrow. That's the kind of power real intimacy gives you. So if you're ready for more secrets, more fire, and more passion tips that actually work, hit that like button, subscribe, and don't blink, because the next lesson might just blow your mind.